Pocatello, Idaho, via AP. An autistic, nonverbal teenage boy who was shot repeatedly by Idaho police from the other side of a chain-linked fence while he was holding a knife died Saturday after being removed from life support. His family said Victor Perez, 17, who also had cerebral palsy, had been in a coma since the April 5th shooting, and tests Friday showed that he had no brain activity. His aunt Anna Vasquez told the Associated Press. He had undergone several surgeries with doctors removing 9 bullets and amputating his leg. Police.
Yeah, and this was real quick. Some people were following this story. It made a bit of a splash, obviously, about a few days ago when this incident initially happened, and we all knew the person was in the hospital. The kid, Victor Perez, R.I.P., was in the hospital struggling. And it was this morning that I got the update that he did not make it. They removed him, from life support.
I see, yeah. Oh, my God, yeah. Police in the southeast Idaho city of Pocatello responded to a 911 call reporting that an apparently intoxicated man with a knife was chasing someone in the yard. It turned out to be Perez, who was not intoxicated but walked with a staggered gait due to his disabilities, Vasquez said. His family members had been trying to get the large kitchen knife away from him. Video taken by a neighbor showed that Perez was lying in the yard after falling over when 4 officers arrived and rushed to the fence at the edge of the yard. They immediately ordered Perez to drop the knife, but instead he stood and began stumbling towards them. Officers opened fire within about 12 seconds of getting out of their patrol cars and made no apparent effort to de-escalate the situation. The shooting outraged Perez's family and Pocatello residents, and about 200 people attended a vigil Saturday morning outside the Pocatello hospital where he was treated. Another crowd of protesters gathered outside the Pocatello City Hall building, which also houses the police department, on Saturday afternoon. Police snipers were stationed on a nearby rooftop during the protest, though no violence was reported.
Dude, that's so telling of what they think of their community.
Yeah.
That they feel like, oh, we're in danger. These are dangerous people out here who are protesting the fact that we killed a child. Let's get our snipers on the roof. That's what we think of the community that we're supposed to protect.
I mean, if you just protest any type of violence committed by state, they'll disappear as to where are they sending the fucking college kids to they're sending them like Louisiana. So yeah, this goes in line with the police state ass place we live in. Like police snipers were stationed on a nearby rooftop during the protest, though no violence was reported. Many of the protesters held signs with phrases like "Do better, PPD" and "Justice for Victor," and passing cars honked in acknowledgement. The officers, whose names have not been released, were placed on administrative leave. Damn, it's just every time it's like never fails you, and you're like, these guys just straight up eviscerated a man, and just administrative leave is call, no show. It's a wrap for you at Popeyes, but these guys just crazy. Decisions about whether charges should be filed against them will be made after an independent investigation by the Eastern Idaho Critical Incident Team. Bannock County Prosecutor Ian Johnson told the AP via email. When that investigation is complete, a report will be submitted for review. He said, in a continued effort to ensure independent and objective consideration, said report will be reviewed by an agency outside of Bannock County. Yeah, but that's the story. Cops have no type of, it's again, just going back to picking and choosing when they want to weaponize, take down, how they take down, subdue, quote unquote, like, what is it called? Not subjects, but suspects.
Yeah.
It's just.
Yeah. This article did a good job of summarizing the body camera footage by including 12 seconds. I mean, that's the craziest thing. It's like so quickly, 12 seconds. Like you call the cops, they could kill you in 12 seconds. Like you see the cop, they pull up in the car, they run out, they're pulling their guns out, and they line up along a chain link fence. This kid's on the ground and he's lying down, and they point the guns. They're screaming. So the kid gets up, and then they just start unloading. And like that's the cops. That's the police. That's it's just unbelievable.
You gotta like design weapons. They already have so many non-lethal weapons, but every time these situations happen, I just start thinking about like things they could have. Like, what about a net gun? Like, just if somebody has a knife, you don't gotta shoot them with a deadly bullet.
Yeah.
You guys you can't tell me. I've seen it in so many spy movies, and a lot of my references are just movie based. But like, why isn't there a gun that like a high powered like little gun that shoots out a net and captures a motherfucker? Like some form of non-lethal.
all the cops are trained to do is like, oh, there's a guy with a knife, so let's get ready to kill a man with a weapon. But instead, it's a child with it's pretty severe autism. Like it said, he was nonverbal. So that's who we're dealing with. This is a 17-year-old kid with he had cerebral palsy, and he had autism that made him nonverbal. And the reason why the cops were called there was because of the neighbor. To me, that tells a lot. That the family was in the backyard trying to get the knife away from him. So to me, that says the family, they know. Mm-hmm. They know that this is their kid. He has these struggles, but they didn't call the cops. They're just trying to get the knife out of his hands. He is intellectually disabled to the point where he's nonverbal, and he has cerebral palsy. He is also physically disabled. Mm-hmm. So they didn't feel the need to get the cops involved. They were trying to handle it. It was the neighbor who called the cops, not trying to demonize the neighbor. The neighbor saw, a guy with a knife in someone's backyard. He did what he thought. I'm never gonna blame someone else for calling the cops. The cops are supposed to protect us, right? So that's what this person chose to do. And I'm assuming the video that was taken by the neighbor is the same neighbor who called the cops, because the neighbor whoever this neighbor was, they were ready with the video. And you see the cops show up, and then in seconds, the kid is dead. So we last week we covered Anthony Lowe that murdered the guy in the wheelchair. It's like the cops' lack of understanding about disabilities, lack of empathy with disabilities has to be like one of the primary biggest issues we see, because it's like whether it's someone with autism, whether it's someone who's going through a psychotic break, wants to harm themselves, whether it's someone in a wheelchair, or we covered the black guy with cerebral palsy that they all beat up. It's like every week it's like a nonstop onslaught of cops acting violent towards people who are disabled.
Well, it's because they have no nuance in their approach at all. They just assume screaming at people and coming in, like when they come in, all they do is make commands and just be like, yo, do this, do this, do this. And it's like, that can't be your approach to every single situation, because like there are people who don't respond to just yelling and violence and do this. You're creating an environment that's gonna cause chaos. He's a nonverbal. When you make these commands of people, when you say do this, do that, do you not take into account that someone could be blind, someone could be nonverbal, someone could just not be in the state of mind that listening to this fucking human weapon screaming like a scary guy, a scary person screaming at them? If you just assume they're like are capable of listening to your threats and your commands. So it's like already creates their hammer approach, their hit everything approach is always going to create fucking violence and just situations like this, because they don't even take for nuance. Everything's not a nail. Everything like everything's you. Some people are like this kid, disabled, nonverbal, probably doesn't have a quite grasp of like the situation they're in. It's just you as adults, you as these the people who are supposed to have the everything under control and who are supposed to bring order to the situation end up causing more chaos because you don't fucking just apply any type of thought to your approach. And it's just but it's a system wide like ignorance.
Well, it goes back to I love so much what you said earlier. It's like, this is why people say abolish the police. Like, people get freaked out by that idea. Like, oh, does that mean there'll be no one? We're all just gonna get to run amok? No, it means like abolish this shit. This is not peacemaking. If this is policing. This is policing as we know it in America, is showing up, guns drawn, and blasting at a kid who has cerebral palsy, who was limping, and there was a fence in between you and the kid, and you're surrounded by your colleagues.
Yeah.
Like, it's like 6v1 with a fence in between, with a child who has cerebral palsy, is physically disabled, and y'all unload on him. That's fucking policing. That is not peacemaking.